Hi all, welcome to our first live webinar on our Campus Connect program. It gives us immense pleasure to be part of this session and sharing our experiences with you. What we'll be focusing on this session is our learning division, the Accolite University. And on this session, we have some of our young Accoliters that will be sharing their unique stories and how they took charge of their careers. So let's dive in. I would love to introduce our speakers today. We have Ashutosh Upadhyay. He's our CTO APAC at Accolite. I am Vidya, Senior Program Manager with Healthcare BU. I'd like to hand it over to the guys here to give their introductions. Hemant, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure, Vidya. Thank you. So, hi everyone. First of all, we are very glad to see everyone here today. I am Hemant Senni, currently working as a software engineer in the healthcare domain here. It's nearly 1.5 years since I joined Accolite. I got placed here through the placement drive in the Department of Computer Science, University of Delhi. I joined as an intern in January last year and got converted to FTE in July. So really happy to be a part of this session. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks, Hemant, for joining in. Disha, you would like to go next?
Yeah, sure, Vidya. So I'm Disha Surana, a software engineer at Accolite Digital, and I'm currently working on a project in BFSI, which is Banking and Finance Services domain. I joined Accolite in January 2021 as an intern during my last year of college. I was doing degree in MCA from Delhi University, and I was part of this SEU program, which is the Spring Accolite University program. And just 6 months later, I became a full-time employee. And although I have been working here for just over a year, the experience has been wonderful and enriching. So thank you for having me on this session.
Thank you so much, Disha. Saransh, you want to go next?
Sure, Vidya. So my name is Saransh. I joined Accolite as an intern in 2021. It's my second internship at Accolite. The first one which I did was in year 2020 for 3 months. Currently, I am the part of AU, or we can say like I'm the end at the end of the AU training. I am in final year of my college at SRM University in Chennai. I will receive my undergrad this year.
All the best for that. Hey, Niyati, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. First of all, thank you for having me on this panel today. So I'm Niyati Mehta and I'm currently a software engineer at Accolite Digital. And like Disha, I am also in the BFSI sector as a backend developer. And I graduated last year from UBC Bangalore. And I got into Accolite as an intern in April last year. And I was part of the SAU of the Feb month. And I got converted to an FT in July last year. And my experience till now at Accolite has been wonderful.
Awesome. Nice to hear that. Manali, you want to go?
Yeah, thanks, Vidya. So yeah, I'm Manali. I did my MCA from University of Pune. I started as a fresher in Accolite in 2012, and currently I'm working as a technical delivery manager in healthcare domain. Thanks for having me here. I'm thrilled to be part of this session. Thank you.
Lovely, lovely. I think I've touched upon each of you during the AU trainings in the past, and it's wonderful to have you guys together. It's great to meet back again. So thanks for being part of the session and helping us spread the message. Thank you so much. What we will do now is to start the session with an overview of Accolite and Accolite University. And for that, I will quickly put out some content there. And Ashu, if you could do the honors to talk through the history of Accolite, that would be great.
Absolutely. Thanks, Vidya. So first of all, a very warm welcome to everybody who's tuned into the session. This is Ashutosh Upadhyay. As Vidya said, I am Chief Technology Officer for the Asia Pacific at Accolite. As a CTO, my core responsibility is to drive engineering excellence across the company. I am a 2004 computer science graduate from IIT Roorkee. I've been enjoying programming and building products at Accolite for over 12 years now and about 18 years in the industry. What I'll do in next 10 minutes is walk you through a journey of Accolite and try to cover who we are, what we do, and what kind of opportunities we have for engineers like yourself joining us here at Accolite. Vidya, can you go to the next slide?
Sure.
Thank you. All right, so just to give a bit of a history about Accolite, Accolite was founded in 2007 by our CEO, Leela Kaza. Leela did his master's in the US, and after that, he spent significant amount of time in the industry. And throughout his entire tenure, he noticed a consistent gap, consistent observation where a large number of corporations across sectors were struggling with a huge demand and supply gap in terms of high caliber engineering services. A very few niche firms were focused on that, and hence the idea of Accolite was born. And ever since inception, all of us have been very, very laser focused in building a world-class digital services and digital transformation company. From our humble beginnings in 2007, we are currently 3,000 plus engineers strong company with our presence across 4 different countries. United States is where we are headquartered. We are also present in Canada, UK, and our largest base is in India. Within India, we have digital labs across 6 locations. We are based in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Gurugram, Chennai, Mumbai, and we have some presence in Pune. In terms of the domains, we have deep domain expertise in 3 key verticals. Banking, financial services, and insurance is one of the biggest vertical. And then we have a lot of work we do and a lot of expertise we have in technology, media, and telecom, and also healthcare. Accolite has received a large number of awards, a notable one of that being Great Places to Work, that we have been awarded 2 years in a row. That's a great testament of our core values and employee-centric culture. Apart from this, New Mountain Capital, which is a very respected and large private equity fund based out of the United States, has made a strategic investment last year into Accolite. They have a huge portfolio of about $33 billion worth of portfolio, and Accolite is now part of their portfolio. And that basically the fact that they have placed trust in with their investments in our abilities is also a great validation of our culture, our ability to scale, and our ability to deliver the complex programs to our customers. So I hope that gives everyone a sense of our background, who we are. I'll quickly move on to what we do. Vidya, if you can move on to the next one. Thank you. So here are the key 6 areas where we provide offerings to our customers. The very first one is product strategy and design. So what we do here is, I think a lot of you might have seen situations or maybe posts on internet where they make fun of the situation where a customer wanted something built, and then they explained that to analysts captured something else, they passed on something else to developers, and eventually what was built was absolutely nowhere close to what the customer wanted. That is a aspect that we try to address here, where we try to work with the customer, with their end users. We pair our analysts, our development team, and our QA team, so everybody gets to participate in those initial discussions where we define the requirements. And this approach ensures that the developer who is going to work on it, the quality assurance team who is going to test it, do not have any gap in their understanding as they're building the product. So in terms of opportunities, somebody, for example, coming into Accolite, they get involved that early stage into the process and hence get a very end-to-end view in terms of their professional careers, right? So product strategy and design is one area where we offer to our customers. The next is microservices and API development. Of course, microservices is a hot topic these days. A lot of companies need to scale their development process, need to scale their actual deployments, and microservices are very fundamental to that. So we do a lot of work in microservices. Cloud engineering and DevOps, I'm sure everybody understands and knows that cloud is also an extremely hot topic these days. In fact, from last few years, where a lot of companies are building new products that are based out of cloud, or they have existing legacy products that they're all re-architecting, rebuilding to migrate them to cloud because of all the benefits that cloud has to offer. So we do a lot of work in cloud space as well. The next is cybersecurity. So of course, cybersecurity also becomes extremely important with a lot of data and systems going into cloud. There are increasingly large number of security incidents that companies across the world are facing. And we have a practice around cybersecurity in Accolite and opportunities for those who are interested about how various attacks work and how to defend against them, how to design secure systems, etc. So we do that kind of work in cybersecurity space. Then data analytics and AI ML is another space where we are actively involved, where we are working on large scale systems and where we gather and deal with a lot of data, run analysis on that. For example, there are applications where we capture users' activity to nth level of detail and analyze that activity. For example, if user is purchasing something and they drop out at a certain point, so we do detailed analysis of those kind of flows and understand at what point users are dropping out, and use those insights to basically redesign those areas to make sure the dropout rates are reduced. Similarly, in the AI and ML space, we have built a bunch of functionality and models around digital clinics, digital oximeters, etc. Moving on to the last offering, which is on in automation. We do a lot of work where the repetitive workflows are automated using RPA technologies, and also a lot of automation with respect to the actual development process. So you're building a new feature, you want to automate the testing of it, unit tests, integration tests, UI tests, end-to-end tests, etc. So that is what we cover in the automation space. Vidhi, can you move on to the next one?
Sure.
Thank you. Quickly talking about the technologies, of course, we spoke about the areas that we work in, and in those specific areas, for example, we do a lot of UI work, front end, using a lot of modern technologies, such as React.js and AngularJS for web-based systems. We are also adopting Vue.js. It's in nascent stage. Then we do a lot of mobile application development work using React Native and all the modern features of browsers, leveraging them to build scalable applications. We are also leveraging concepts of micro front end, similar to the way we have microservices on the back end. We also have the concept of micro front ends in the front end. So we're leveraging that concept to build and assemble, build UIs via parallel teams and assemble them into a single UI so that customer still sees them as a single UI, right? Then on the back end, we are using Java heavily, Python. We are also using Node.js. And so those are the primary languages that we are using as of now. And we are now foraying into Golang because that's also go-to language for building modern microservices. We're also doing a lot of workflow-based systems using Camunda, Activity, Flowable, etc. Moving on to clouds and platforms, we do a lot of work using AWS, GCP, and Azure, who are the major cloud providers. So as part of that, we build a lot of cloud-based, cloud-native architectures and cloud cost optimization, cloud security, etc. Then next is on data and AI space. Of course, I gave an overview of the kind of work we are doing. And in terms of tool sets, we use MongoDB, Couchbase as NoSQL databases wherever we have NoSQL use cases. We're also leveraging Postgres and MySQL and DB2 for relational use cases. And we are using message queues like Kafka for various purposes, building real-time systems for inter-microservices communication in case of asynchronous microservices. Then lastly, on Agile, DevOps, and microservices. So again, this is about using tools like Docker, for example, or Kubernetes, or Ansible, or Terraform, etc., for automating the entire pipeline of when you develop a software, how that gets built and how that gets deployed across your development, testing, UAT, and production environments. All of that is a automated cycle in our systems. And we use CI/CD systems like Jenkins or TeamCity, Argo CD, Circle CI, and a bunch of other systems that are there. So these are some of the tools and utilities, languages, platforms that we use. And this is where I think a lot of you who come and join us will get an opportunity to work on. So that is all that I had to cover. Thanks a lot for listening in. Over to you, Vidya.
Sashu. So we'll move on to Accolite University, which is the pivotal point of this session today. I have been running Accolite University for about more than 5 years now, and the way I have typically described this platform is as a boot camp, essentially, for freshers, right? And it's designed to actually give them a jump start in their career. And the reason why I say that is we have a whole gamut of things that we cover here, right? It's technical skills, it's soft skills. By soft skills, I mean business communication, which is critical, especially for people coming just out of college, stepping into their professional careers. The intent here is to set the expectation in terms of what professional life has on offer, and also in a way kindle their curiosity to learn more. So the way this whole program is designed is not to get into the depth of every subject, but definitely touch upon the most important, and most prevalent tech stack, the critical ones that are always in use in addition to what comes up new. But the idea is to, trigger that search in them so that they can, take that forward. There will be most of these technologies that they will be using in their projects. So then there is that familiarity that kicks in, right? And then the takeoff happens after that. So we've traditionally seen that this kind of context building that we do with AU has proven very, very successful for us. And we've got awesome feedback from customers about these batches. In terms of what do we do, right? What is the format of AU per se? So we have, the way we've designed this is definitely for it to be rigorous, but at the same time, the core idea here is to make it comprehensive. So it's basically a combination of classroom sessions, and then you have hands-on tasks, right? By hands-on tasks, I mean, you have assignments that are happening on a daily basis, which is pretty much every topic. You have quizzes that are happening. We have our own online quiz portals that we use for this. We have online tests as well. Again, we have our own platforms that we use for that. And in terms of curriculum, right, more to the curriculum, it is a time-tested curriculum that we follow in AU. Doesn't, of course, mean that we don't add on. So we're improvising every year. So we start off with programming concepts. We get into Java full stack, which is most of the time the mainstay for many projects in Accolite. We cover .NET as well, because there are a bunch of customers of ours that are .NET heavy. They're a Microsoft shop, so we cover that as well. And like Ashu mentioned, Angular and React is very, very critical part of the curriculum. We covered Python. We've had exclusive batches that we ran for cloud, for machine learning, and the list goes on, right? We also make sure that in addition to the tech piece and the soft skills piece, there is also a certain peripheral aspect around how do you go about doing these things, right? Okay, you kind of know the technology to some extent, you know how to code. Where do you go and code, right? And what happens after you code? So a lot of things about source control, and then there is these finer aspects, right, which are not probably very visible out there, but really show in terms of code quality, coding standards, all of those aspects. We lay very, very high emphasis on these peripheral aspects also. This is again purely based on our experience of how do you shape wholesome professionals, right, that can deliver an end-to-end solution to your customer, right? So that's the idea. In terms of how do we lay out the content for AU, all of the content is digital. In fact, it's all homegrown. All of the material that we use for AU has been built by our in-house experts. They've gone through a lot of churn over the years, a lot of improvisation, and then there is new topics that get added as well. And then from what we did, a lot of internal trainer-based sessions earlier on, like 4-5 years ago, we have started blending that with external trainers as well now, which kind of adds that additional touch as well. And that has been welcomed by AUers and the leadership alike. And then there is, and then what happens after all of this, right? So you have tests, you have quizzes, you have assignments. Yes, we do all of that during the AU. And then you get into something called projects. So why do we do projects, right? And what are these projects like? So this is a very key component. Again, the intention here is, yes, you did like 3-4 weeks, or that's mostly the Spring AU program. And then we have 6 to 7 weeks of the AU program that happens around mid-year timeframe. After all of that classroom training, there's a lot of material that's being shared, a lot of interaction that's happening. You have been doing some assignments here and there, small pieces of code that you're writing. You know how to use Git, so you know how to check-in code. You probably know how to write your test cases and all of that. How does it all come together, right? So essentially, projects I would describe as a kind of simulation of a customer delivery scenario. And I say that for a reason. Most of the projects that we do, both for Spring AU and AU, actually stem out of customer POCs, right? Many of them over the years. And there has never been a shortage of those ideas ever. So we do a lot of those. And then the second important feeder for these projects that we do are COE initiatives from inside of Accolite. So, whether it's, some automation that we work we want to do internally, we're building a tool internally for our usage. So the key point here is that we're not working on throwaway code, right? Every bit of code that is written by the AU grads has its, SDLC journey, and it absolutely goes to production, if I could say so. So that's why projects have been put in place. And then, of course, you're doing all of this, and there is a formal evaluation criteria as well for projects. It's not like you write some code and you're like, yeah, so I finished AU and I'm done with it, right? So there is a proper evaluation that happens. There are metrics in there. And the key criteria there would be, how have you applied your knowledge, right? What kind of standards have you followed? What's the level of logic and analytical skills that you've been able to apply? And then teamwork is an important part of it. Not to forget your presentation skills. So when at the end of the project, you actually have to do a demo. This is to the AU technical team. Most often we have our technical leadership team, like Ashu has sat through so many of these presentations himself. So you need to present it to the audience and convince them about what you've built and why you've built them, right? So a lot of requirements understanding that is evaluated, a lot of documentation that you do that is evaluated as well by means of these projects, right? So by design, AU is learn, assimilate, display, and then get into your project and apply all of this together, right? That's how AU is essentially designed. So that was on AU, and we have some of our guys here that are waiting to talk about their experience in AU. So I would love to jump in and hand over, this session to these young Accoliters that have gone through AU with me most of the time, and that gives me immense pleasure to share that as well. So, Hemant, why don't you go first? You have been a rock star on our project. I know firsthand about how much the customer gushes about every time they talk about you, your technical skills, just what you bring to the table. Can't be more wonderful, to hear from somebody like you about AU.
Thank you so much, Vidya. Starting with what the freshers have experienced in the recent past, as we all know, the journey to join a company starts way before the actual hiring. So when we start up preparations, when we practice coding problems, work on our soft skills, basically improve ourselves to become a professional. So first of all, congratulations to all of those who have made it here. You have achieved a milestone in your career, and now you are here to become an industry-ready professional. So to describe my journey here, when I joined Accolite as an intern, I had very little experience of working on different platforms because while preparing for the internship, I focused mainly on online coding platforms. I learned the basic concepts of competitive programming like data structures and algorithms. And I also did coding problems on a daily basis. But although we use the same concepts throughout our career, what we do in a company is something different. Here, we get shaped into a professional. And I would say AU, the Accolite University, would be the first successful step for you in that direction. The course that AU offers actually carves you into a better coder, a better problem solver, and a better professional overall. So it's an intense and rigorous training period, I can say, but that is what every Accoliter has to go through to start their journey here. So, but we get to learn about various industry trending techs and frameworks, like for backend, as Ashu mentioned, Laravel, Spring, .NET, and for front end, Angular, React, JavaScript, for databases, Hibernate, MongoDB, SQL, Postgres, and so much more. So every day in AU, you get to learn something new. You get to do hands-on work on these new techs and frameworks, which I personally appreciated very much during my AU. So although it's tough when you come out of your comfort zone, your college, to learn something new every day, but that is the best part here in AU. Which is how you get to learn so much in such a short span of time. For a keen learner, I would say it's a gold mine to be in. So I'd like to mention some key things that AU brought out in me. AU really boosted the confidence that I have now in myself, not only as a software developer, but also as a professional who is ready to take up new challenges and also learn along the way. So AU also helped me in understanding the strengths when it comes to frameworks or learning about the leading in industry practices, and also grasping a diverse range of techs that are trending. AU also teaches us how to grow and shine under a tremendous pressure. So there are mentors at every step who guide us and teach us the attention to detail to become industry-ready professional. So although my professional journey had just begun, my experience has been very rewarding here. And so my advice to all the freshers will be to always keep a positive and patient attitudes toward learning new things. There are ample opportunities out there, so set yourself up for success and have the confidence to build your career the way you want it. So thank you and welcome again, everyone.
Thanks so much, Hemant. And who better than you to talk about, getting that start, learning new things. I know how you jumped into PHP from where you started with Java, Angular, React training. And I can totally see why and how you appreciate the fact that, introduction to a lot of these conceptual stuff and the peripheral aspects has actually helped you to, should I say, pick up a new language all on your own, and you've been able to deliver time and again on your customer project, right? I can't get it more delightful than that for a manager, for sure. So totally proud to be that for you. Thank you so much. Great. Disha, how was your experience? You are one of our from our recent most batches of AU, right? It'll be great to hear from you how things are going.
Yeah. So Vidya, my internship at Accolite University was a rich experience, like all of them might have. So it was both professionally and personally. We were trained on both back-end and front-end technologies, including databases and various programming languages, which helped me learn, grow, and evolve as a full stack software developer. So the SAU program helped us a lot in terms of getting acquainted with different set of technologies and learning tech skills that are used in industry in just like a month's time. And we had various hands-on sessions and assignments that really helped me when I started working on client projects. Since then, I've been able to work on projects that delve into cutting edge technologies like Java, Angular, Scala, Spark, ETL, DBMS, Python, just to name a few. Also, in addition to these tech skills, it really helped me develop my soft skills as well, like communication skills, time management, collaboration, and learning how to handle pressure and work consistently to deliver in time. So I can say as a fresher, I believe this was the best start to my career and to boost my confidence. So if you are looking to start your career with similar opportunities, you should join this learning division of Accolite and become an industry level professional. So I can just say that as Hemant mentioned, this AU program can be overwhelming and intense. But if you are patient and consistent throughout the training, you will develop a whole new set of skills and have an exponential learning curve. So at the end, I just want to wish all the very best to the potential new additions to this AU family.
Yeah, I mean, so true. And look at the kind of skills you're working on in your project, right? It's truly full stack and as recent as it can get. Probably some of them you may not even have touched in AU just yet. It's as new as that. So we are definitely going to be including that in the next year for sure, next batch. And yeah, to your point on overwhelming and intense, that is so true as well. But at the same time, I think the focus is always on learning. So I can't agree with you more about being patient, and this is probably the time that you want to put in your 150%, right? Because what happens after that on your customer projects will be a pleasant surprise if you get through AU with all of that rigor and a lot of hard work. So thanks so much for being part of AU, and all the best for a great career to you.
Thank you, Vidya.
Great. I see Saransh here. Hey, Saransh. What kind of problems have we solved together, right? It has been such a pleasure knowing you, and can't wait to hear about what you felt about AU. And you did 2 internships as well with us, so we should absolutely hear you from you.
So as I told, my first internship was in Accolite in 2020. In March 2021, I decided to come back as an intern. So I came back, became an intern in August 2021. I got PPO from Accolite on the basis of my internship. So that's what my job is about. So while preparing for the internship, I focused more on the practical knowledge and practice many questions from various online platforms. I think this really helped me in preparing for the interviews and cracking it. As a fresh undergrad, AU was like a portal of knowledge, and I got exposed to newer technologies and languages used in the industries while working in an environment of continuous learning with top-notch technologists. Also, as it was a remote internship and due to flexible working environment, I could perfectly balance my work and also focus on my college assignments. I have spent over 1.3 years, like 1.3 years of my undergrad career working in online college and office. My internship gave me a great hands-on experience on how it works in the professional world. I could be a part of corporate working culture and receive valuable feedback. I got the chance to work on the real world projects like the Accolite website, learn and mentored by leaders like Vidya, Shrikant, Fenendra, who appreciated the new and innovative ideas that we brought to the table. Whether it was about learning the basics of coding, working under strict deadlines, or working on technologies such as Angular, Java, Laravel, MySQL, AU gave a huge boost to my technical skills and knowledge.
Absolutely, and what a journey it has been for you. And those 1.3 years, I can't even remember how many times we would have spoken to each other to make sure that you're with us, and for all the right reasons. And it has been such a pleasure working with you. And you're probably the one other person that I've known who has done a complete switch in terms of technology as well, right? We typically don't have PHP as part of our curriculum, but just the kind of foundation building at AU, I think helped you to take off and pick it up. And I need to note the fact that you're the only guy that was holding up our website and so beautifully. So thank you so much for all the wonderful work you do, Saransh. Great to hear from you. Niyati, how about your rigorous, fun? What was your AU like?
I can say like my journey till now in Accolite, from being an intern to an FT, it's been fun, amazing, and wonderful. And it's like been full of new learnings, technical know-hows, and just amazing experiences. So, as they say, learning never stops. So it'll never stop. So, but the experience and the knowledge that I gained through Accolite University, it will always be invaluable to whatever professional growth in my career. And as an AUer, I became familiar with all the tech stack that is currently being used in the industry. And and the AU helped me upgrade all my skills. Like learning a new technology every day in AU has been the highlight of the AU program. So that really gave me confidence, and so I could also add value to my team and my projects. So also I would mention that the AU project, which is held in the last, it's amazing, part of the curriculum, because while doing a project as a team, it improves your soft skills as well. So like my team building skills, my communication skills, it's been amazing in the project. So other than all the tech stack that everyone just mentioned, I would like to just highlight that Angular, Java, Spark, and Scala was the main technologies that I used during my Accolite project as well as in my internship. So apart from this, like all the other technologies and frameworks, they were all new to me, and it was very amazing and like I can't I'm just speechless about just knowing all of it. It was really good, just the basics. So about Accolite in general, so it has given me like excellent opportunities to upskill and grow. And the best thing about Accolite is like the support and guidance that you get from your seniors, your colleagues. They just become like your friends. You can just talk to them. There's no it's like an open door policy that is there in Accolite over here. So they are always motivating freshers and just telling us to think out of the box and bring new ideas to the table. It's very nice. And being part of Accolite University, I kickstarted my career, and I have like made the most of all the opportunities that I got over here. And I think you can never have any doubts. Like during the Accolite University program also, I remember like even after the session was over, I used to go back to the trainers if I had any doubts or anything. So during my assignments, I could just go back to them and talk to them about anything. So that was also really good. And in the last, I would just like to say that I would just like to wish all the best to all the new joiners. And I'm very sure that you will have a wonderful experience here at Accolite.
So nice. So nice to hear that. And it's very heartening to know how you perceive AU. I have been part of the organizing team for quite a few years now. It has always been an enriching experience. I would probably never say that, yeah, I did it last year, so it's going to be the same thing. It's never the same thing, right? It's a whole new batch. Wonderful, folks with beautiful ideas, very, very interesting, new, novel ideas. You as an organizer need to be that much more prepped, to do justice to the batch. There's always this churn about, okay, what tech stack to include this year? What kind of improvisation do we need to do in the format itself? What projects can we throw out there for the batch to work on, right? It's always a challenge as an organizer as well, but I'm so happy to hear, the feedback that you guys are giving. Makes me feel that we seem to be doing it just right. So very encouraging for sure, and all the best to a wonderful career to you.
Thank you so much, Vidya.
Great. So far, I think we've been hearing about some of the grads from the last 1-2 years or so. I definitely want to switch gears at this point to talk to Gautami. She's somebody who has been through AU herself 5-6 years ago, but has had a span of a career, here about 5-6 years after AU. That's one person who can talk about, okay, yes, I did AU, I got into my project, I did this, it was wonderful. And then what next, Gautami, what next was it for you?
Thanks, Vidya, for that. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Gautami, and I'm currently working as a Associate Technical Delivery Manager at Accolite. So just to begin with, I graduated from Vasavi College of Engineering, Hyderabad in 2016 with computers as my major. And there my association with Accolite started when I got recruited into Accolite as an FTE, but we were offered internship as well. So my internship started in Jan 2016. And I got to explore what Accolite as a company is in my internship itself. And that, gave me a boost to start my career as an FTE in 2016, July, post 6 months. And, before you get into FTV, you have to, face this path called Accolite University. I think that's one of my unforgettable experiences so far. Because honestly, on a personal note, it was my first time going out of my city, to attend a training, and that made the program really special for me. It was a program of 45 days. Where we used to have subject matter experts, mentoring us, teaching us on different technologies, diverse frameworks, and different tools which we got to use once we get onto our real world projects working, right? So, but before I get into my experience, I would like to just give a keynote on what AU was for me. So AU is something like it's like a bridge that takes you from where you are to what you can do in the real world, right? Because we were taught concepts, but we might have put into reality, but not in a complete course of what can solve a real world problem. So I think you get to learn different frameworks, because we were taught languages, but frameworks are something which will give skeleton to your solution. So I think that's what AU was for me. So to start my experience with AU, it was in 2016, held at Bangalore, I think with one of a bigger size back then, with 60 plus grads. So I think Vidya was the one who was, the co-member of our, program then, and we have Ashu there. So I think I could remember these, mentors from back 2016. So where I could meet all of them. And our typical day at AU starts at 9 o'clock in the morning. But I have to say this, we never know when it's going to end in the evening or maybe at night. Because, we used to have session in the morning, one at noon. And post that, we used to have this brainstorming sessions where we have all kind of mentors helping us out. And then we have to solve these assignments. If they're complex, they are kind enough to give a day more. But you know what? Enthusiastic and exciting minds can't keep it for more time. So we used to sit in the office like 11, 12 at the night. And but people from core team, they used to push us, go have some food, go have some sleep. But still the igniting minds, I would say, would still settle down and solve it and then leave. So it was that kind of experience. But as all mentioned, as we have seen the recent grads expressing that it's intense program. So I would still say that the differentiated AU program is still the same, right? Starting from Manali to what Niyati and Saransh is saying, it's still the differentiating factor of AU is still on. And I could learn a lot of technical skills, like as all mentioned, but wanted to highlight few like Java, Spring on the back end and on the front end, to mention few like Angular, React, and scripting languages, and the most important database management as well, like tools and SQL concepts. But most importantly, how you comprehend yourself in the real world is very important, which is via your oral and written communication skills. So I think that's the most important thing that eventually we learned along with the technical skills as well. So I would like to give one example of how these skills have helped me out. So as soon as I graduated from AU, the very first project where I put in was facing the client. Just imagine a novice, a person who just came from AU have to face the client, and it's a really challenging job because we have to be on toes all the time because we are facing the client. And my skills from AU, the technical skills, Java, whatever I've learned, the databases, along with the communication skills, day in and day out, I have to communicate him the progress of our this thing. So I always have to be on my tips to reply them on the time. So I think the communication soft skills also help me a lot. So yeah, eventually to summarize what AU can do for all the new grads listening out here, I think it's a very wonderful session that you're all listening to, because AU is not something which will make you a technologist. Along with that, important point is that understanding your weaker sections and stronger points, because once you get into the real world project management or working on that, you have to know where you're strong at, where you're weak at. So weaker areas, you can work a lot more. Stronger areas, you can go ahead and finish it faster. That will be a differentiating factor for you end of the day. So I think that's what AU can do for you. And wanted to summarize on my growth as well, because that's what everybody looks at as well. From after AU, what you're going to gain from the company and what you can give it to the company. So I think grab as much as you can from the AU, graduate and get into the projects. Opportunities are ample. I think to highlight my journey, I could grab whatever that Accolite has given to me, from being a team member, working for a project, I think to leading a team today and delivering the project is whole a different experience. It's a complete circle. I think I definitely wish everybody would make this Accolite University a bigger opportunity for all of you all. Make best use of it, and I'm looking forward to meeting you all in person, and all the very best for your career. Thank you all.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. What a journey it has been for you, for sure. It's been a while since we met after AU, but it's really delightful to know how far you've come. Great. Manali, another old-timer, probably our first AU batch ever.
Absolutely.
What was it then? You're an organizer now. You've taken grads into your project. How's your experience like?
Yeah, thanks, Vidya. So yeah, I think the panelists have covered it very nicely, for me, it has been a decade-long journey with Accolite as well as with AU. Back then we were, I feel ancient when I say this, but yeah, back then we were just 5 of us sitting in a very small conference room. It was the very first AU batch. I think even if I feel really proud to see how the program has now grown and spread across the globe, right? Today we have 500 grads joining us every year in India. And very recently we even conducted our very first AU batch in UK with 25 grads. So it gives me immense pleasure and pride as well to see how much it has grown from such a small, program to such a large scale program today. However, the gist of the program has not changed. It was just as rigorous back then as it is today. As Gautami rightly mentioned, our day would start, a typical day would start at 9 o'clock in the morning. If you are late, even by 5 minutes, you wouldn't hear the end of it. And then you don't know when it would end, right? We were trained in technologies back then in .NET, C#, design patterns, NUnit, SQL concepts. Today, I know we are covering a lot like Kafka, Cloud, just to name the few. And we also had training in soft skills. Now, this was not a separate course that we did during our AU. This was just as we were doing our AU. We had to take care of time management. We had to take care of things like communication. We learned people skills. We learned presentation skills, teamwork, so many things, right? And we were given assignments at the end of the day. For us, we had really rigorous program. We did not have a day extra. The core members had, basically they had programmed it such that you have to finish the assignment and submit it the next day. And the assignments were never usually, straightforward. You had to apply your training and think outside the box, and then come back next day at 9 o'clock, submit your assignment. That's how it was.
We used to call it small, tiny assignment.
Correct. That's right. That's right. For a reason, because later on we were given a project. And the project was actually, as you rightly mentioned, it's not usually any random project. It's basically a POC that we want to pitch into a client as a value add. So we worked on a project. So that gave us the complete understanding of SDLC. We had to understand the problem statement. We had to design the solution architecture, schema. We had to even distribute the roles and responsibilities among us. Someone would work on front end, someone on back end, integration, testing, all these things. And once we are done with the project within the deadlines, even during the project, we had weekly check-ins with the mentors, code review comments. You had to integrate those review comments, right? So it was a complete a development process that we usually do for any software. And once you complete the project within the deadline, you had to present it to the leadership in a proper manner, the way you would have a client demo. So, and once you have presented it, I would say when they find merit in the solution, it gets brainstormed even further and then gets presented to the client. That's what we have seen in previous AU batches as well, right? None of the code that is written during the AU is thrown away. It is utilized somewhere or the other for sure. So that's how it has been for me. What I would say is AU was a sneak peek for me into the industry while sitting in a classroom environment. In a comfortable classroom environment. It gives you a taste of what a day would look like in a developer's life. That's how it is. That being said, for me, AU did not end with me graduating, because after I graduated, I have been with AU in terms of organizing it, giving trainings, mentoring projects. In fact, I think my first opportunity of leading a small team of 5 to 6 members was actually mentoring an AU project. That's when I realized maybe I'm ready and I should go and ask for some more, some opportunity like that. So that's how it has been for me, right? It has given me that confidence to, evolve into the strong leader that I am today. To look at my journey now, I started out as a fresher. I moved on to leading a team of 5-6 members. Then I switched my domain because a better opportunity came up. I led a team of 10-15 members, wherein we build an application from scratch. And today I'm looking at, handling delivery for a suite of 6-7 projects for the biggest client in healthcare domain. So that's how AU has actually, given me that confidence. So to sum up, I would say it's a holistic experience, and it prepares you for the industry. So I really hope that, it actually is helpful and enriching experience for all the aspiring AUs as it was for us. And I wish them all the best.
Thank you so much. That was one wholesome description for sure. And having organized AUs seems to be even more exciting because you kind of know the other side of the story. You know
Absolutely.
sitting in front. So
Yeah.
now you're going to be sitting behind the scene and making the scene in the front happen for many people, aspirants like you. So and so true about the customer projects piece. I even remember 4 or 5 occasions when we were actually delivering a client solution. And this demo that we spoke about on the projects was not just to the core team and the technical leadership team. We actually did a proper presentation with demo to the customer.
Yeah, I mentored. I mentored that
We had
project.
grads presenting to the customer. I mean, how often does that happen, right?
Yes.
Yeah, wonderful. And that I hope we've collectively been able to bring out the real essence of AU. At least to me, it reflects from every bit of emotion that I've seen on your faces and in your expression about what it meant to you, how it has transformed your lives. Can't wait to transform thousand more lives, with professional lives with AU. And we can't close a session like this without that piece of advice from somebody. So Saransh, I'm going to look up to you. You're looking like a teacher today. So I'm going to look up to you to give that one last punch advice to somebody who wants to think of doing AU.
Sure, Vidya. So being a beginner, my suggestion to the AU aspirants will to practice as many questions as you can, because the practical knowledge makes a lot of difference. Grasp as much as you can from the AU mentor, because they are the expert. They know how the things function in the real world, right? Also focus on time management, because you have to manage a lot of things within a given deadline, and try to finish your task 2 to 3 days in advance, so that if there is any error or last moment changes, then you don't have to worry. Lastly, and more importantly, enjoy what you do, because if you enjoy what you are doing, and the end result is always success.
Yep. Super. That's very well said. Thank you so much. Again, big thanks to all of you for sharing your wonderful stories. And even bigger thanks to everybody that is listening to us. We hope we've been able to convey the fact that Accolite University is just the kind of platform that you want, to step into, the real world of IT. And then the kind of mentoring that you get from subject matter experts and the kind of diverse domains that you get introduced to, it just makes you industry ready, essentially, right? In summary. You please visit our website if you want to know more about what Accolite does and what Accolite University means. We also have our campus hiring team, their email ID out on our website there. You can write into us if you have specific queries. campus.hiring@accolitedigital.com is the destination for you to throw in your questions. And looking forward to see all of you very soon at Accolite in AU and in our project space. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thanks, guys.